betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned, and yet chosen. This is not the story of a man born into royalty. It's the story of a young shepherd sold into slavery, forgotten in a prison cell, and raised up by God to save nations. It's the story of Joseph. Joseph was the son of Jacob, one of 12. But from an early age, it was clear he was different. He was born to Rachel, Jacob's beloved wife, and quickly became the favorite. Jacob gifted him a richly colored robe, a visible reminder to everyone of how special he was. To Joseph, it was a gift, but to his brothers, it was a daily insult. Then came the dreams. Joseph told them innocently. In one, his brothers' bundles of grain bowed to his. In another, the sun, moon, and stars bowed before him. His brothers didn't laugh. They seethed. Even Jacob, confused, questioned what it all meant. But Joseph wasn't arrogant. He was simply telling the truth. What he didn't realize was how dangerous the truth could be in the wrong ears. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers in the fields. When they saw him coming wearing that robe, their hatred boiled over. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Let's kill him and see what becomes of his dreams." But instead of killing him, they threw him into a pit. And when a caravan of traders passed by, they sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver. Just like that, he was gone. The brothers took his robe, stained it with goat's blood, and told their father he had been killed by wild animals. Jacob mourned deeply. And Joseph was now a slave in Egypt. He was purchased by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Despite the betrayal, Joseph worked hard. He was trustworthy, wise, and faithful, and Potiphar took notice. Joseph was soon placed in charge of the entire household. But trouble found him again. Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. Day after day, Joseph refused. "How could I do this and sin against God?" he said. One day, she grabbed his garment, and he ran. She accused him of attacking her, and Joseph was thrown into prison, though he had done nothing wrong. Once again, Joseph found himself in a pit. But once again, God was with him. In prison, he earned the trust of the warden and was put in charge of the other inmates. One day, 2 prisoners arrived, Pharaoh's baker and cupbearer. Both had strange dreams, and both were deeply troubled. Joseph listened and said, "Interpretations belong to God. Tell me your dreams." The cupbearer dreamed of a vine with 3 branches. Joseph said, "In 3 days, you'll be restored." The baker dreamed of 3 baskets of bread, which birds ate from his head. Joseph told him, "In 3 days, you'll be executed." 3 days later, both interpretations came true. Joseph asked the cupbearer to remember him, but the man forgot. Years passed. Joseph waited. Unseen, uncelebrated, but not unloved. Even when people forgot him, God did not. Then came Pharaoh's dreams. In the first, 7 fat cows were eaten by 7 thin cows. In the second, 7 healthy heads of grain were swallowed by 7 withered ones. No one could interpret them. That's when the cupbearer remembered the young Hebrew in prison. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh. He stood, clean-shaven and humble. "Can you interpret dreams?" Pharaoh asked. Joseph replied, "I can't, but God can." Joseph explained. 7 years of abundance were coming, followed by 7 years of devastating famine. Then he did something unexpected. He offered a plan. "Appoint someone to store up food during the good years," he said, "so the nation can survive the bad." Pharaoh was stunned. "Is there anyone like this man in whom is the Spirit of God?" And in one moment, Joseph went from prisoner to prince. Pharaoh gave him his signet ring, dressed him in fine linen, gave him command over all Egypt. Only Pharaoh himself outranked him. Joseph was 30 years old. For 7 years, Egypt prospered. Joseph stored grain across the land, and then the famine came, just as he said it would. But Egypt had food. People from every nation came to buy grain, including 10 familiar brothers from Canaan. They bowed before Joseph, not knowing who he was. He recognized them immediately. They were the same brothers who once threw him into a pit, the same ones who sold him for silver. But instead of revealing himself, Joseph tested them. He accused them of being spies. He demanded they bring their youngest brother, Benjamin, as proof of their story. He kept Simeon behind and sent the rest away, secretly returning their silver in their sacks. Back in Canaan, their father Jacob was terrified. He had already lost Joseph. He couldn't lose Benjamin too, but the famine grew worse, and he finally allowed Benjamin to go. When the brothers returned, Joseph prepared a feast. He gave Benjamin 5 times the food of anyone else. Still, he didn't reveal himself. One last test remained. He had his silver cup hidden in Benjamin's bag. After they left, Joseph's men pursued them, searched their belongings, and found the cup. Benjamin would become his slave, they declared. The brothers were devastated. Judah, the one who once suggested selling Joseph, now offered himself in Benjamin's place. "Please," he begged, "let me stay instead. If Benjamin doesn't return, our father will die of grief." That was the moment everything changed. Joseph broke down and wept. He cleared the room and finally said the words they never expected. "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" The brothers were speechless, terrified, guilty. But Joseph stepped closer. Not with revenge, but with love. "Do not be afraid," he said. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many lives." He embraced them, forgave them, and told them to bring their families to Egypt. He would provide for them. Jacob and all his descendants moved to Egypt, 70 people in total. There, the nation of Israel would begin to grow. Joseph's story didn't end in bitterness. It ended in blessing. And before he died, he made his family promise. "One day, God will bring you out of this land. And when he does, take my bones with you." Joseph's journey shows us that even when life feels unfair, unseen, or painful, God is working. From the pit, to the prison, to the palace. Every step was part of the plan. If you're walking through something hard right now, take heart. God hasn't forgotten you. Your story's not over. He's still writing.